Hello and welcome back to the channel. In the summer of 1940, Britain was in serious trouble. Dunkirk had just happened. The British Expeditionary Force had been evacuated from the beaches of France in a desperate operation that saved the men, but left almost everything else behind. Rifles, artillery, vehicles, machine guns, anti-tank weapons. 338,000 soldiers came home. Their equipment did not. Britain now faced the possibility of a German invasion with an army that had almost no weapons. The War Office needed submachine guns, quickly, in large numbers, and someone made a decision that was either completely pragmatic or slightly embarrassing, depending on how you look at it. Copy the Germans. Not inspired by, not based on. Copy. Exactly. Part by part. Dimension by dimension. The result was the Lanchester Submachine Gun, a direct reproduction of the German MP28, built in British factories, issued to British forces, and used by the Royal Navy for the next 30 years. This is the story of the most shamelessly copied weapon Britain ever produced, and why it turned out to be an excellent decision. To understand the Lanchester, you have to understand what submachine guns were, and why Britain needed them so urgently in 1940. A submachine gun fires pistol cartridges from a fully automatic weapon. It is shorter and lighter than a rifle, fires faster, and is ideal for close-quarters combat, clearing buildings, defending ships, fighting in confined spaces. By 1940, the German army had been issuing submachine guns to its troops for years. The MP18, the MP28, and the MP38 had given German infantry a close-quarters capability that most British units simply did not have. The standard British infantryman carried a bolt-action Lee Enfield, accurate at range, reliable, but slow to fire, and completely unsuited to close-quarters combat. After Dunkirk, the shortage was critical. Britain needed submachine guns immediately. Designing a completely new weapon from scratch would take years. Years that Britain did not have. George Herbert Lanchester was a designer at the Sterling Armaments Company. His solution to the problem was straightforward. Find the best submachine gun currently in existence, measure every single component, and build an exact copy in British factories using British materials. The weapon he chose to copy was the German MP28. Designed by Hugo Schmeisser and produced by Bergmann, the MP28 was one of the most reliable and well-designed submachine guns in the world. It had been in service since 1928. Its design was mature, proven, and thoroughly debugged. Lanchester did not attempt to improve it. He did not try to make it cheaper or simpler. He copied it with one significant addition: a bayonet lug on the muzzle, because British military doctrine required infantry weapons to accept a bayonet. The Lanchester fired the 9mm parabellum cartridge, the same round used in most German submachine guns. This was a deliberate decision. In the chaos of 1940, captured German ammunition could be used directly in the Lanchester. An army fighting for its survival could not afford to be selective about where its ammunition came from. The magazine fed from the left side of the weapon. 50-round magazines were standard, giving the Lanchester considerably more ammunition capacity than most contemporary submachine guns. The long magazine combined with the wooden stock and full-length barrel gave the weapon an unusually substantial appearance for a submachine gun. The construction was entirely traditional, wood and metal, brass fittings on the magazine housing, a quality of finish that reflected the fact that Sterling Armaments was building each weapon with careful attention to detail rather than rushing production. This construction quality became one of the Lanchester's most distinctive characteristics. The Sten gun, which entered British service at roughly the same time, was designed explicitly to be cheap and fast to produce. Stamped metal, minimal finishing, a weapon built in hours rather than days. The Lanchester was the opposite. It was built the way a quality firearm should be built. Machined components, tight tolerances, brass fittings that would not corrode in damp environments. The result was a weapon that felt substantial and reliable in a way that the Sten never quite managed. The Lanchester entered service in 1941, and almost immediately it was divided between two very different users. The Army received some Lanchesters in the early production run, but Army priorities shifted quickly toward the Sten, which was far cheaper and faster to produce in the numbers required for mass infantry use. The Army needed hundreds of thousands of submachine guns. The Lanchester's careful construction made it too expensive and too slow to produce at that scale. The Royal Navy had different requirements entirely. A naval vessel is not a mass infantry operation. The crew of a warship needed weapons for boarding actions, repelling boarders, and defending the ship in close quarters. The numbers required were manageable, and the Navy's institutional culture valued quality and durability over cheapness and speed. The Royal Navy adopted the Lanchester as its standard submachine gun and never looked back. Naval service suited the Lanchester perfectly. Ships are damp environments. Weapons stored aboard vessels for extended periods needed to resist corrosion. The Lanchester's brass fittings and quality construction made it far more resistant to the marine environment than the Sten's bare stamped steel. The weapon was reliable. It was robust. It could be stored for months and still function correctly when needed. For a Navy that might need a submachine gun at any moment, but spend most of its time not using one, these qualities were exactly right. The Lanchester served with the Royal Navy throughout the Second World War, and then it kept serving. When the war ended, most wartime weapons were retired quickly. The Sten was scrapped. Wartime production weapons of all kinds were declared surplus and disposed of. The Lanchester stayed. The Royal Navy retained the Lanchester through the late 1940s, through the 1950s, into the 1960s. A weapon designed in 1940 as an emergency copy of a German original was still in active Royal Navy service more than 20 years after the war that prompted its creation had ended. The reason was simple. It worked. It was reliable. It was durable. And the Navy saw no compelling reason to replace something that continued to function exactly as required. Some Lanchesters remained in service until 1968, when they were finally replaced by more modern weapons. 28 years of continuous service. For a weapon that was designed in a panic as a direct copy of an enemy firearm, this was a remarkable achievement. The story of the Lanchester raises a question that British military historians have occasionally found uncomfortable. If copying the German MP28 produced such an excellent weapon, why had Britain not developed something comparable before the war? The answer involves institutional attitudes toward submachine guns in the British Army during the 1930s. Senior officers were skeptical of the submachine gun as a concept. The argument was that a weapon firing pistol cartridges lacked the range and accuracy of a proper rifle. British infantry doctrine emphasized accurate aimed fire at range. A submachine gun that sprayed pistol bullets at close range did not fit that doctrine. Germany had no such reservations. German infantry doctrine embraced fire superiority at close range. The submachine gun was a central part of how German soldiers were expected to fight. Dunkirk demonstrated the cost of that difference. And the Lanchester was one of the responses. What is notable is that the response worked. Copying the enemy's weapon was not an admission of failure. It was a pragmatic recognition that the enemy had solved a problem correctly, and that reinventing the solution was a waste of time that Britain did not have. The Lanchester was not British ingenuity, it was British practicality. And in 1940, practicality was exactly what was needed. The Lanchester Submachine Gun is not famous. It does not have the cultural recognition of the Sten or the Thompson. It is not celebrated as a symbol of British resilience or ingenuity. It is a direct copy of a German weapon that the Royal Navy used for nearly 30 years. But that quiet, unglamorous service record is its own kind of achievement. 130,000 Lanchesters were produced. They served on warships across every theater of the Second World War. They remained in service long after the war ended, and long after the emergency that prompted their creation had been forgotten. A weapon designed in panic in 1940 as a shameless copy of an enemy original. Built with quality and care, used with effectiveness and reliability for 3 decades. Not every weapon needs to be original to be excellent. Thank you for watching. If you found this interesting, please subscribe. There are many more stories like this one. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.